Vice President of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, David Holt, joins us now. He's the mayor of Oklahoma City.
Let's get into it. First, I mean, President Biden left you off the charge, guardians of democracy. How are you all planning to work with the Trump administration?
Mayor, let's do a little politics, because I can't have a mayor at the table and not do a little politics. You used the word at the very beginning of the conversation, pragmatic, and I love that word because as someone who's been in state government, I understand very much what that word means in terms of the execution of the job. But the politics beneath the pragmatism is the balancing act in how you govern as a Republican mayor. And in a lot of cases, I know a lot of Republican mayors who are running nonpartisan races. So the labels go away. But you're still in this space, as NPR is reporting, you know, as the President elect Trump takes office again, with the GOP now lined up behind Trump, the most visible interscene squabbles playing out in Congress and in conservative circles are instead among those vying to prove their visions are the best implementation of Trump's MAGA agenda. You're in a different space than most who are playing in larger arenas. Talk about how you have to balance that in your governing, because you know, your thing is I have to make sure that street light works, the trash gets picked up, and the neighbors around the corner behaving themselves, right? But then there's this other side of the job, too, that you're, you know, in a party or in a political environment that's a little bit more volatile. Talk a little bit about that, that part of it.
Yeah, thank you. And I think what I'm going to say is responsive, and I'll do a callback because there's a much longer discussion that Simone and I had on this a couple of years ago that you can Google and watch. But, but the way that most mayors are elected is in a nonpartisan format or kind of a top two type format. And the bottom line is that all voters see all the candidates and all the candidates have to face all the voters, and you don't go through a closed partisan primary. So when you talk about politics and you talk about some of this like party politics, you know, that's the first thing that comes to mind for me is that when I face my voters again in Oklahoma City, I'm going to face Republicans, Democrats, and independents. Right. On the first day of the election. There's no closed partisan primary, so I can go in building a coalition of what I often refer to as the 70% of normal people in the middle, who are Republicans, Democrats, and independents. They have principles, but they're willing to compromise, and it's just a totally different incentive structure than people who are running for most of congressional seats and governor's offices and to be the president. They feel like they've got to fear their far right or their far left because the first step they've got in the next process is a primary. I don't have to worry about that. And so, and most mayors are in that same situation for whatever historic reasons. That's the structure we are usually elected through. Well, man, it just makes for such better governance. So when people tell me, like, man, why is it that we can't, whatever the issue is, you know, guns or abortion, there's like these 70-30 positions that the American public has. Why can't we see those implemented in government? I often pivot away from the issue towards election reform. I'm like, you know what? It's because you're electing people.
There you go.
And if you want,
on it, Mayor.
Yeah, if you want people to be unifying, pragmatic, effective, like mayors, who I think are the best political class in America. Change your elections to elect people the way we elect mayors.
You see why I would vote for David Holt?
Simone,
Do you see this?
I see it. I get it.
You see this?
I get it.
Mayor, before we let you go, I mean, I'm saying, okay?